tradition with a twist. That's the mark of a maker.
Wow.
Yeah, welcome back. Anyone fancy taking their taste buds across the water to New York?
Well, a taste of the Big Apple is what we're getting this morning with a traditional sweet treat from the city that never sleeps. Simone, tell us more.
So we're going to cook a classic New York cheesecake. This is a baked cheesecake, as you said before the break. Most people will go for an easier option, which is the set cheesecake. This is a little more tricky. The process and how to make it is not too bad. It's the cooking process and the time, and you have to let it sit, let it chill, let it do its thing.
Patience.
That's the hard bit. Exactly.
Can I ask, probably a stupid question, the difference in taste between the baked cheesecake and the regular?
There'll be a drier taste from this because it's been baked. The set one will be a little looser. It'll be more of a mousse consistency.
Like a mousse, yeah.
But you'll see when we cut this open, there'll still be that sort of wet consistency, but there will be a drier taste of it. And you'll notice the difference in the taste of the lemon and the vanilla in this because they've had a longer time to cook out.
Okay.
Let's start with the base. So the base traditionally in a cheesecake is Gingernut Biscuits. So I've got 200 grams of Gingernut Biscuits that I've blitzed in the food processor. You can put it in a food bag and bash it if you like. I blitzed these before because it was very noisy, wasn't it, earlier on?
It's a little bit noisy.
Did you not notice?
I probably wasn't here.
So 200 grams. I've got 100 grams of unsalted butter in my pan.
And does it matter if it's unsalted or salted?
No, I'm just trying to watch the calories, Laura, you know.
Okay, no, but that's good to know that you're going for the better option.
If you haven't got unsalted butter, we won't fall out over the fact that you use full fat.
Do you find that sometimes you buy the wrong one and then you're thinking, is it going to make a difference to the taste?
Is it going to make a difference to the whole recipe?
Not really for this, no.
Okay.
It
depends on what you're doing.
Exactly. So all we're going to do is going to mix that melted butter through with the Gingernut Biscuits, and we're looking for the consistency of wet sand. You can see it kind of coming together there. You'll know it's ready to go into your dish when you can pick it up, squeeze it, and it stays together. Okay? So all you do is get yourself a little spring-formed baking dish. These are essential for doing your cake, for doing a cheesecake. Much easier to get out, as we discovered earlier on, Laura. As there was a slight moment of panic. So all we're going to do is pop our biscuits into the base. We'll preheat our oven to 175 degrees. And unlike the key lime pie we did before, we're actually going to cook this base off because we want this base to solidify. So just get your biscuits in there.
So 160 maybe fan, would it be low as that?
175 with the fan.
Oh, with the fan,
yeah. So take your time with this then. You know, get it into the corners, make sure it's nice and level. And then all you do is you pop that into your oven for 10 minutes, between 10 and 15 minutes, depending on your oven, keep your eye on it. Then take it out and let it cool completely. So here's one that I did earlier. That base is now cold and it's hard. So it has to be cold for you to pour the cake mixture back in on top.
Okay.
So now to the cake mixture. And quantities, I have my learned colleague here to my left to check that I have the right quantities here, Laura. I think I'm right. We start in our mixing bowl with 900 grams of cream cheese.
Okay.
So that's the main foundation for the cake. We're going to follow that up then with 600 grams of crème fraiche.
Oh, lovely. It'll be very light.
Yeah, it'd be lovely. And we're going to add some flavour ingredients then in 1 second. So we've got our cream cheese, our crème fraiche, 270 grams of caster sugar. In that goes. And then we're going to have 70 grams of plain flour, or cream flour.
You don't need to sieve that in, you can throw them all in
You don't need to sieve it in, it's all good. We have the juice and zest of 1 lemon. So this is where our flavour starts to come in.
And Simon, you could do lighter versions of the
cream cheese, you can get the
fraiche.
light version if you want, absolutely. The last flavour ingredient to go in here is, I want the seeds from a vanilla pod. And I wanted to show you how to take the seeds out of the vanilla pod. Some people can be a little bit afraid of this. You normally get them like this in the shops. All you want to do is lay the pod flat and get a sharp knife, and in the middle of the pod, just cut straight down the middle. And all we're trying to do here really is split the pod in two. And then flip your knife over. So at the blunt side of the pod, scrape it along, and look what comes out.
Oh, it's a great tip.
Black gold is what we're looking for. That is more expensive than any other ingredients you'll find in your kitchen. Now, if you wanted to, you could use vanilla extract, essence. Just check the quantities and that. You'll find recipes with that.
Okay.
Don't throw that out, okay? You've a bowl of sugar sitting beside your cooker, pop that in, and after a couple of days, you'll have a vanilla sugar. Beautiful ingredient.
Because it will infuse
exactly,
sugar.
And you'll use that then in other recipes. So that's all of our ingredients in there. And we're going to take them over then to our mixer, and we're going to mix these through. One last ingredient I want to throw in, just as we start to mix, is a little pinch of salt.
Okay.
Tiny little pinch of salt.
And again, if you ended up doing the base with the salted butter, would you forget about that salt?
Correct. If you put regular butter in there, leave the salt out. But because
Okay.
we've gone unsalted, we just took a teaspoon, quarter of a teaspoon. So this is where now it takes time. The last ingredient to go in here are 8 eggs. And the trick with this, and a mistake that people often make with cheesecake, is they'll put all the eggs in now and they won't combine correctly. So the trick is to do them one by one. And the easiest way to do it, I've cracked 8 eggs into that bowl. We can get a bit of speed on this, and you want to add one at a time. So quite simply, just stand beside it, drop 1 egg in, and leave it there, and watch it. And let that combine in. If you put them all in, or 3 or 4 at the same time,
Too much.
they won't combine in. So this is where it takes a little bit of patience.
And could it curdle or something if you did that, Simon?
I think it
would
would
go lumpy.
split or something. Yeah, it's going to affect the mixture, and
Okay.
I don't know how or why it does, but
It does.
this is the correct way to do it. And you can
Okay.
see that we're letting each egg
Yeah, you're allowing it
do
time
its own
to
thing
combine.
and get in there. Now we'll speed up the process slightly because we're on live television. The patience bit of this comes in the actual cooking of it, okay? So we're going to preheat our oven to 225 degrees.
Okay.
When we pop our cake in there, we're going to cook it at that temperature for only 10 minutes. And then we're going to drop the temperature right down to 100 degrees.
Okay.
And you're going to cook it for 50 minutes.
And why is that? Why are you cooking at 2 different temperatures?
Slowly. You first of all, when you put the cake in there, you want to give it a shock. Let us know it's
And the
getting
shape.
cooked. And the shape. You want this thing to set and form. And then drop it down to 100, and it takes its time. It's a slow cooking procedure. When the 50 minutes is up, turn off the oven, but leave the cheesecake in there. You're going to let the cheesecake cool completely in the oven. That takes about another hour, okay? So we're 2 hours into it, so you can see what I mean about requiring a bit of patience.
And having your times sorted as well.
Exactly. This is a classic dessert that you need to make the day before. Because
But in saying that, Simon, if you were doing the refrigerated one, there's still time involved, isn't there?
There is, of course. If
You
you're
still
doing
have
a
to wait
set
for it to
cheesecake, you're
set.
still going to have to put it in there and set for a couple of hours
Yeah.
anyway. When that process is finished then, you need to refrigerate the cake for 3 to 4 hours, preferably overnight. Now, I just want to show you how to assemble this. So we have our base that we made earlier on. Remember, this has been completely cooled down now.
And
okay?
that's important.
That's important. We don't want to cook these boys before they get into the oven. And then just take your time, nice and slowly, into the centre. Just pour that gorgeous mixture. You can smell the lemon and the vanilla from
Oh,
here.
Yeah,
really
I can smell it over here.
It's gorgeous,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Love
So
lemon.
in we go.
Zesty,
Put in
citrusy.
everything.
And you can see our quantities should bring us right to the top of
So
the
you
tin.
need quite a deep base then.
You
for
do,
a
you do.
pan
These
or
are an 11
springform.
inch, I think it's called an 11-inch baking dish. Into our oven then for 10 minutes at 225.
Yeah.
Drop it down to 100, 50 minutes. Then kill the oven completely, leave it
And
in
leave
there.
it there.
Let it cool, take it out, put it in the fridge and give it a couple of hours.
Okay.
3 to 4 hours, ideally overnight. And that's it. And then we end up with this. Now I've just dressed this with a little bit of fresh fruit, some strawberries.
Can I ask you,
Blueberries.
Simon, because this looks magnificent, but what I was keen to see is that it doesn't go in the middle. And
Yeah.
any time I've
There's
tried
a-
to bake
they
a cake,
sink.
it
You know what?
sinks, it dips.
Yeah, there is a little bit of a dip, you
Oh,
know.
that's pretty perfect now.
It's not bad, and they can crack as well, as we saw when we were trying to open
But
it.
is that because we opened the oven door, or why?
No, it's just it's impossible to explain. The most common problem people have with a baked cheesecake is that after the 50 minutes of cooking, you'll open the oven, you'll shake, and you go, "Sure, that's still liquid in the middle. That's not cooked at all." Now I did that myself yesterday, and I said, "Lisa, this isn't cooked." And Lisa went, "No," because Lisa's a doctor of patience. She said, "No, just close
Wait.
the oven, turn it off, let it finish. It finishes its own cooking
Of course, because
process
eggs will
in
cook
there."
on their own anyway.
But I kept looking into the oven and going, "No, that's not right." So the problem we have as bakers and as home cooks is, well, I just put the oven back on 100, give it another 20 minutes.
Yeah,
And
another
you
blast.
overbake it. You overbake it, but that is how it should come out.
That looks fantastic.
Incredible. I am definitely trying this. I've
Yes.
never baked a cheesecake before, have you?
Well,
No,
I'll
never.
have to cut you a slice then, won't
Oh,
I?
you will. Thank you. And of course, for people at home who have enjoyed following your recipes so far,
Fabulous.
and they've been sending in our photos, which we love to see. The full recipe details of this cheesecake are up on the website. That's virginmediatelevision.ie/IrelandAM.
Thank you, Simon.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Forward. We'll report back after the break. And after the break, the woman who was supposed to perform for Ireland in front of a global audience of an estimated 180 million people. We're chatting to Eurovision's Leslie Roy next.
Right.
Tradition with a twist. That's the mark of a maker.